Okay, everybody should be here, so you should be able to get going.
Hi, everyone. Good morning from Lagos, Nigeria. Glad to have you on our midst today. It's been a privilege to host this, and we started this last April, and every month we've been having different speakers come speak to us about Mautic, and today is going to be another session where we'll be talking about cron jobs. The speakers are ready, and we look forward to a wonderful session. Just before we go on, quickly let me welcome everyone, and if you need to speak, you can always use the chat box, or you can always use the hand icon so that you can be able to ask questions. There's going to be opportunities for us to talk to the speaker, so please feel free. Then this session is being recorded, and you are live on YouTube, so you can always go back to watch the recordings of these events after this. So quickly, for those that might be joining us for the first time, you may want to ask, what is Mautic, and what is it all about? So Mautic is an open source automated platform that helps you with your marketing efforts, and also integrating it together with your personalized digital properties just in one channel. It helps you to have a seamless customer experience, and it also helps you to be able to do a lot of things. And the beauty of it is that it's open source, so it means you don't have to pay to use it. You can customize it as you want, and you can also give back to the community, contributing to the code base. Not just the code base, you can contribute in a non-developers way. You may want to contribute through your efforts with marketing, with community building, education, whichever way you want to. There's always this opportunity for you to contribute to Mautic. So you may be wondering, how could you be able to use Mautic? You can use it to do website tracking. It means you can be able to track visitors. You can be able to use it to deliver personalized messages based on activities that you have people doing or taking on your website. You can use it to build landing pages for your product, or for your new launch, or for that new event you're planning to hold. You can use it to build landing pages. You can use it to build web forms. You can use it to also manage your contacts. If you need to segment your audiences, you might also need this to be able to segment your audiences. Another thing you could be able to do with Mautic is dynamic content. So you can be able to create content. So assuming two different people come visiting your website at the same time, they can see two different content at the same time, because you've been able to use dynamic content. You can also integrate it with third parties. You can build in your own custom application into Mautic. It also has the ability to do email marketing. You can also integrate it with SMS. You can also use it to do reporting. You can also have a dashboard where you can be able to measure whatever you're trying to do using Mautic. All right, so during the welcome, I talked about contributing to Mautic, and this is the links you can follow to be able to contribute to Mautic. So you can just go to mautic.org /community/get involved, or you can go to contribute.mautic.org. There are communities you can participate. One is the community team. So community team comprises of holding some similar events, just like we have this now, the meetup and other community events. So the community team is in charge of planning the Mautic Cron. I'm going to share more details about Mautic Cron later after the presentation by József. So please feel free to stay behind. It's loaded with a lot of information that you need to know about. We have the educational team. So the educational team recently launched a knowledge base. I'm going to be sharing that too at the end of this presentation, during the announcement session. So please stay back so that you can be able to get information about all this. There's also the legal and finance team. We also have the marketing team, which I'm opportunity to be the assistant marketing lead. So please feel free to join the marketing team and every other team. We also have the product team, who are the actual team building the Mautic application. All right, so thank you for joining us today, and we'd love to have you join us on the Lagos community. In case you got this link directly to join this meetup, please feel free to join us on our meetup page. So that is meetup.com/Mautic iPhone Lagos. And please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have all our meetups, all the meetups recordings are on our YouTube channel. So please feel free to also support. And if you need any support and communication, please feel free to share with the community. You can always visit the community home, mautic.org/community. The forum is a good place for you to be able to post in any support issue that you might have. A lot of people are there waiting to help you. So please feel free to use the forum. As much as possible, if you have any support issue, Slack is not the best place to post it. The forum is the best place because the forum gives you the ability to also help others that would want to have similar questions in the future. And it's also search engine optimized. So it means whatever post you have in the forum, someone can be able to go to Google and search for something similar, and then the results can pop up. So feel free to always use the forum. For other communications, please feel free to do Slack and also the Facebook group. All right, so we have resources. So we have the knowledge base, kb.knowledge.mautic.org. Developers, you can find it at developers.mautic.org. The Checkpa also have the multicast. They release 2 versions every month. That is a bi-monthly, so you might want to check it out. And we have the community channel, so in case you need to follow Mautic to get updates about upcoming releases, events, and other updates in the community. So feel free to go on Facebook, Mautic community, same on Twitter, and same on LinkedIn. All right, so this Lagos meetup is organized by 3 of us. My name, Oluwatobi, we have Victor, and then we also have Favor. These are Twitter handle. You can feel free to reach us, all of us, in case you need to speak in any other future event, or you have an idea you'd like to share with us, or you'd like to contribute to Mautic Lagos community. All right, so we hold this every month, and next one is going to be happening next month, November 28th. And it's going to be online. So please feel free to join us. Feel free to be part of the community so that you can be able to get updates and get to know about the speaker and the topic we'll be talking about. All right, so straight into today's agenda. So today we'll be having Mautic Cron jobs, and that will be taken by Joseph. After that, we'll be having a networking session. Then I'll be sharing with us updates we have in Mautic. Then we also have question and answer, where we can be able to ask Joseph questions. Then we have a closing and recap. All right. So Joseph, thank you for joining us today. It's really, really great to have you in our midst. Thank you for the time. Thank you for everything you do in the community. You've really been an active person in the forum, and I really envy you, and I really appreciate you for that. So Joseph, you can have the floor right now. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, can you?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen, hopefully, so you guys see the presentation. Am I sharing the screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, great. So hello, everyone. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for making this Mautic meetups, and I'm really happy that we can go deeper into certain topics regarding Mautic. About myself, just quickly, I am a CTO of Friendly Automate. It's a Swiss startup which offers ethical marketing tools, open source tools, and Mautic is one of our core products. we choose this topic because I think that this is coming up all the time in the forums, and in general there is a huge requirement for talking about cron jobs, because it can be a source of a lot of issues with your Mautic installation. So I'm really happy that we can a little bit take it apart. I hope you are same nerd like me and you're gonna have fun with this. I will go from the very beginning until some really nuts stuff. So please stay with me until the very end. Okay, so if you watched the presentation from Dennis Emmeling a couple of months ago regarding how to install Mautic, then he also mentioned the cron jobs, but a little bit just like an overview. What are they used for and why you need it? And as a first step, I would like to go into that a little bit deeper. So cron jobs, there are 3 cron jobs which we install with every instance. It's kind of like the usual suspects. So one of them is the update segment. So the update segment cron command is the one which is running the segments for you. So it's gonna put people into the segments based on their filters and remove them from there. So if you have any issues with these numbers here not updating, then you probably have to look at your segments cron command. The other one is building the campaign, which is referenced sometimes to update campaign. It's the same cron command. It's very important that if you have issues with these gray numbers not filling up in your Mautic, then your update is not working. And in a moment, I will tell you exactly how to troubleshoot it. But just to understand, this is the second command. And the third one, main command, is the trigger campaign. So if you go to your campaign's actions, this orange or yellow, whatever color this is not growing, this is not changing, then you have a problem with that certain cron command. Okay, so what is a cron command? The cron command is this background process which helps you to deal with your segments, trigger the next action, actually update what is the next action for your Mautic instance, and then trigger it if it needs to be triggered. So these are the 3 main elements. When you add a cron command to your instance, you always have to watch 3 parts. The one is you have to be able to run your PHP correctly. The other one, the second one, is you need the right path. And the third one, you need the right command. And if you nail all 3 of them, then your commands will run properly. And in the forums, we see very often that cron jobs are not even running in the background, just generating errors. And the user doesn't know that, okay, my Mautic is not working, but actually I'm not running any of the commands. So if you run all these 3 commands right, most likely you will have success with your Mautic. Okay, so where is my PHP? That's one of the most important questions. If you use cPanel, probably it's in your user bin PHP. But if you have SSH access, you can always just run Veris PHP and you will get similar answers to this. Please drop in the chat if you don't see my screen right. I will try to magnify some parts. So the point is that if you run Veris PHP, it's gonna give you an answer. Yes, I will give access to the presentation slides. So you will have an access to the you have access to the information by running Veris PHP. Where is your PHP located? Usually it's user bin PHP, or one of these locations. The second part is your path to Mautic. Again, for cPanel, it's usually home, your username, and public HTML. This is an example cPanel view. You can see home directory is home, standard is the username. So if you would do /Mautic, then /public HTML, this is where the Mautic would be installed. Nginx, you can probably see it in these locations what I listed, and Apache is var www.html. So you need to be able to find your Mautic. If you are shooting somewhere else, then the command will not run at all, and you will be like, oh, Mautic is not working. So this is the first thing you should check. Okay, let's talk a little bit about commands. We have 3 basic commands. In the documentation, you can see these 3 basic commands always suggested that you run them. The segments update, the campaigns update, and the campaigns trigger. Regarding the timing, when you look at the docs, it says that you should run them every 15 minutes. Don't run them at the same time. And that means don't run the different commands. Don't set 3 cron jobs running at the same time. That is not a good idea. You can do other stuff, but this is just a bad idea. So normally, if you want to run through a campaign, it would take you 15 minutes because first 5 minutes, your Mautic segments will update, then your campaign is updating, and your campaign is triggering. So there's a 15 minutes between qualifying to be a member of a segment until, for example, an event is triggered, like your stage is changed. If you use queue and you send an email, and let's say that's also set like every 5 minutes, then there's a 20-minute gap. So the idea is, and this is going to be also part of my presentation, is that you need to understand how to shorten that down on your install. So there is another queue. There's another cron command for the import. Why do you need it? You need it because if you are importing, depending on your server, you might see very high run times. And if your PHP is set to run only for like 5-6 minutes, it's possible that it will simply time out and your import will not work. I have seen this a couple of times in the forum that people complained and the import is not working. I always suggest to use the queue setting. You can find that in contact settings and import settings. And you can always set here, okay, start the automatic import if your CSV file has more than whatever, 500 lines. And that depends on your server. And in a moment, I will talk about it, how to measure that. So I always recommend to use the queue. There is actually a button when you import where you can set if you want to do it in a background process or you would like to do it on the fly. If you do it on the fly, you don't need this cron command. I suggest to have it. It just gives you a lot more stability, especially if you're running your instances for someone else. Okay, email sending. This is my sweetheart. I'm really an email guy. And there are a couple of confusing things in Mautic how to run emails. And I would like to clear this up that everyone is on the same page regarding what commands needed and when and how is email sent. So basically, there are two cron commands. Let's take one case. So you are sending out an email. You push the send button. Then you see this screen here saying that enter the number of emails per batch. So please don't enter the maximum emails you want to send out. Leave it by between 100, 500, depending on the strength on your server. In this end, I have only one contact, but of course, this could be like 100,000 as well. Just leave it 100, push the send. So if you don't use queue, what happens is that you see this progress bar and it goes to the end and your email is sent out. So that means there is no queue. The email is just sent on the fly. If you are dealing with larger number of emails, you should watch it because if you have like, 200,000 or 50,000 or even 10,000 and you are dealing with SMTP, which is a slow protocol, that can happen that your whole thing times out before it could be finished. So my suggestion is always use queue. I'm a big fan of queues and you can manage them perfectly with using the cron tabs. So the other method is the queue sending, like I promoted. Same thing. You click on send. How big batches you want to send. You choose the number, send, progress bar fulfills completely, but there is no send happening. All what happens is that everything goes into the Mautic bin spool default folder. There will be as many files, as many emails you have. And then if you have a command saying Mautic email send, then your emails will be sent out. So you need this command to send out from the queue. This is very important. If you have an issue with sending emails, always check your queue. Is it being sent out or not? You can run this command manually and see what happens. Maybe you get an error. and then you can go on from that. So this is a great way to troubleshoot your email sending by checking what happens if you have the queue set and your emails are not going out. Okay, the third method, when you're scheduling emails. In this case, everything happens with the commands. So for example, you set up the email, and this can be a little bit confusing for some people. Actually, this is not visible. If you can see at the bottom, this email is published. That means that just it's published. It doesn't mean it's scheduled. Under it, it's saying publish at. So that's actually the time when it will be start to process. When Mautic will start to process this email and push them into the queue. So this publish at could be actually called queue at, or start building the queue at this time. And unpublish is when you stop building the queue. Now, I will come back to this in a minute. When you push send for this, I don't have a slide for that, but let's say you have the settings, published, publish at, also filled out in a future date. You click on send, you will see this. So you will see the title, and you have 1 pending, 0 sent, and you have this little icon here saying that this will be sent out. It's pending. And if you have this command, the broadcast send command, running in the background, this is the one which queues up your email. This command actually runs around 10 times faster than an SMTP, so it's a really fast processing command. But you need it in order to push those emails into the queue. Before, you did it by waiting by the screen until the progress bar fills up. But if you use this cron command, you don't need that. So your spool will be filled up, and then you still need the second command, the Mautic email send, to send out your emails. And these emails will be queued and sent until this date. That means someone qualifies to your segment. In this case, it's the seed segment. So someone would get in, let's say the 3rd of November, they would still get the emails, because until then, this is published. So this way you can set up a certain campaign which is only alive for 3 days, and use the broadcast email to update the customers about that promotion. Okay, so we have all these cron commands, which I would say they are the absolute needed ones. And now we're gonna try to massage them a little bit together and put them together and achieve some good stability with them. So we did the setup, and I did a bunch of testing. So before I talk about the testing, what I did, I took 3 different servers. I took a server with, it's a quite powerful server with 20 Mautic instances on it. So it's like a multi-tenant server where we're sharing some resources. The second server will be a very crappy, cheap server, and the third one will be just a 1 instance running on it. It's actually a $20 server, not naming the provider. So when I was testing, because I wanted to know that if this 15 minutes time can be shortened, and also what can we do in 5 minutes, and in general, what's the impact between the different servers, like how Mautic reacts on that. So what I did, I took 13,000 contacts, and I imported exactly the same contacts. So as you can see on server number 1, it took me 6 minutes, 52 seconds. So let's say 7 minutes. On crappy server, it was 26 minutes. It's a $5 server. And on the third one, it was 3 minutes, 25 seconds. So when you read the documentation, they're talking about that 5-minute gap there, because they want to be safe. And it's a very good advice for someone who just starts out. They will not crash their Mautic because it's enough time for everything to run. But if you want to fine tune it, you have to understand deeper what your server can do. The best, of course, is if you have SSH access. You can properly test your instances then. So then I took rebuilding the segments. I was curious how the different servers react. Our server 1 was Okay, 82 seconds. Again, this is 13,000 contacts. Crappy server, of course, lower, and it was very similar with the $20 server. I use batch limit 300. So the batch limit is when you take the 13,000 emails, contacts, it's gonna load in first 300, and then think a little bit, 300 again, think a little bit, yeah? And this is until the segment is completely built up. You can change this setting. You can have this 1,500 as well, and then this time when the script is thinking between the two segments, that will be shortened because the time will be not spent with thinking, but actually doing stuff. So you can further optimize that. I think the default is 300. You can edit that. But if you use the switch batch limit 300 or batch limit 1,500, then you can tweak it and get better numbers. In fact, I did run that. So this is the comparison. If you go with 1,500 batch, then different servers will behave differently. So as you can see, the first and the third server reached actually better time. They could handle better processing. I could even set 3,000. In fact, I did, and I got even better numbers. For server number 2, which is the cheap server, it was worse because between batches, the server slowed down big time. It couldn't manage the 1,500. So this is one of the ways you can really tweak your performance by setting the right batch limits. Just imagine if you have to manage bigger batches, you can really halve the time if your settings are right. And you can go in there and test it with the SSH. So campaign update. So with campaign update, it was very similar. It seems that the memory is very important. Server number 2 couldn't really handle it. The other two were like way outperforming it. And this was a very interesting info for me because I didn't know that different commands need different server capacity. Tell me if you like busy already from my Prezi. Then this is the triggering the campaign, the third segment. And here actually my $5 server couldn't even manage it. So what happened here is that it just timed out. So it actually took like, I don't know, almost 20 minutes to run this campaign trigger, and it's really the same amount of contacts we were trying to process. So like I said before, you can see it on the bottom. This is the actually what makes the action in your Mautic. So not the preparation, but when actually something is done. This also depends what you do. This certain campaign was changing the contact stage, so it actually included a bunch of SQL writing in and out. Okay, so as you can see, we need completely different settings for different server. And when you read the documentation, of course, the writer of the documentation couldn't be ready for that. So you need to test it yourself. It's a great starting point, but now you understand that depending on your server, you can tweak more. So we can actually optimize a lot more. Going back to my numbers, we were testing here 13,000 contacts for rebuilding the segment, and we were using the same for changing the stage and updating the command. This is a very rare case. So as you can see, we didn't even fill out our 5 minutes for running that command. So there was a lot of idle time. If you would set your cron every 5 minutes, then you would be waiting around like 4 minutes or 4.5 minutes or 2 minutes in the case of the last command. And by shortening and most of the time you actually don't need so detailed, not detailed, but so many contacts to run, because not so many things are changing if you're taking shorter intervals. So in fact, it's even shorter if you run like 500 contacts in a segment, you will be finished a lot faster. So your idle time is even longer. So what can we do? We could put these next to each other, all these cron jobs, and just do them in 2 minutes, or maybe even in 1 minute, because if you do it in every minute, then you have to deal with less stuff. Of course, you will have peaks, yeah? So it will happen that you have to deal with a lot of stuff, but then your cron will just not run. It will say that, sorry, I'm busy. Okay, let me go back to the next slide. So what can you do? We are using batch files. So what happens there is that we write a SH batch file, putting the 3 commands in there, and just calling that one command. And this time, what happens, the first command is executed when it's done. Second one is executed, and then the third one. So you don't have to wait around. You can just have all your commands executed one after the other. Okay, so what about, more, adding more commands? So why don't we add more? Yeah, sure, we can add more commands. We can add the import as well, and we can add the broadcast and the email, and just throw everything in there and then run it every minute. That would cause some issues, because sometimes you just really want to send, and sometimes you just really want to import. And for me, and again, this is very important, that this is not a blueprint for every business, because some businesses are like, throw in 20,000 contacts, send them all day emails, or 2 days, process them all the time, delete 90%, and go on. For them, this strategy is not okay. But for most of the businesses where you are rebuilding your segments based on visitor data, based on opens, based on clicks, and sometimes you send emails, sometimes you add new imports, that's fine. So this strategy is okay. You have to know what's your cron commands actually doing in the background. So I also have peaks, and we have to manage those peaks. For me, if I'm sending emails, the most important thing is that those emails are out as soon as possible. So I want everything else not to happen when I'm sending emails. The other thing is, if I'm importing, that's absolutely not important for me. Importing is secondary. I can have everything else happening but the importing. So importing should happen only if there's nothing else to do. This is my approach. Of course, yours can be different. But you can handle these peaks. And for me, handling the peaks is with this little bit expansion of the bash script. And I'm sorry if we're going a little bit too geeky here. You can just use this. It works. I will try to explain, even if you're not coder, you understand. So the first line is making a decision here. Is my spool folder empty? In other words, are we sending something? If we are not sending, then we're running the broadcast cron command, which will pull in 100 emails into the queue. So we will have in the spool 100 emails. If there's nothing to be processed, there's nothing to be queued, this will not happen. Second one, updates the segment. Of course, here you should have your batch switches. I didn't add it just not to confuse anyone, but you can use the switch batch size equals 300, 1,500, whatever. Then you rebuild your campaign, then you trigger. These are the regular commands, what you use all the time running in the background. And then you import. And I set here 500 just to have a number there. You can have 200 too, depending how important it is that you import as fast as possible. You can set it for 50, and then your import will be very slow. Everything else will run very fast, and all the time you will update your campaigns. That else is separating the first decision. So that says that, okay, we do have something in our spool. There is a file. So there is something to be sent out. And again, this only works if you're using queue. So if we have files, then the broadcast will pull in another 200, because we need to keep the, have to keep the supply of the emails always up. And we will send out 200 emails. So you can actually time it if you want to understand what's the right number here every minute, because we're running this cron job, this cron command every minute. If you want to understand what's your number is, just run this and see. Sit down with the timer, time it. How much is it your number? If using API, that 200 will be like 2000 because it's a lot faster. And it depends on your server. I did test it. I unfortunately don't have the numbers, but there's a tenfold difference between the servers. So just test yours. And whatever you can do in 1 minute, set up here and call this every single minute. So the thing is that this is very good, but we are really doing everything in 1 minute. So we have a very fast pacing server, which is handling everything in 1 minute. But for me, every minute is a little bit too slow. So I want to do stuff like every 30 seconds, because just imagine that you have new client or new contact on your server, and that new contact needs to have an email, a white paper sent or something, and you want to make sure that they get it. Or you have a campaign running, for example, you can run a focus item in your campaign, and you want to display it while this guy is on the website. You can't wait 1 minute until everything goes through. So we should run it every 30 seconds. But how can we run it every 30 seconds? Because cron is only to be set every minute, unless. So we go nuts here a little bit and follow me. So you will be running it every minute, and mind that end sign at the end, the ampersand at the end of the line. If you add sleep 30 to it, then the next command will run after 30 seconds of running the first command. So you run the two commands at the same time, but the second one will actually launch only after 30 seconds. So you have the two commands, the same commands. And this way we are running your cron jobs every 30 seconds. And this gives such a fast pacing environment. And actually it's very stable if you are setting your timings properly based on what I was teaching you before. Okay, so this is actually what I wanted to talk to you about today. Is there any questions? Are there any questions?
Wow, so fast and straight to the point. Thank you so much, József.
Was it too fast?
No, not too fast, but I'm sure a lot of people get it. I'm checking through the chat if there's any message. Okay. All right. So nobody is asking questions so far. Do we have anybody asking any question? Anybody has any question? If you have a question, please use the question icon to ask a question, or raise up your hand and you'll be allowed to join and ask a question. All right, so I want, while we are waiting for questions, I want to apologize for my presentation earlier, and I discovered I had to go back to check the stream, and I discovered that I was only showing just one part of the slide. The other thing weren't showing while I was moving through the slide. So I will quickly run through the slide again for the benefit of those that was unable to follow along. So while we wait for the questions, I will do that, please. So quickly, let me share my slide again. Can you stop sharing, József?
Yes. How is it now?
Great. Yeah, it's fine now. All right, so
so there was a question.
Okay, someone is asking a question.
It was there was a question. Did you do 30 seconds with your crappy server?
Okay,
I sure did.
Okay.
Yeah, so the crappy server underperformed very well. It was lagging, and I got lots of entries in my logs that I shouldn't do that. So it doesn't make sense really to run it, because it couldn't finish the first 30 seconds until the second 30 seconds would be negotiated. When you launch a cron job, for example, segment building, it will lean for like 5 seconds on good server. On a bad server, it will be maybe 25 seconds. So there is nothing to do. You should not even try. It will not yield you anything.
Hello, hi, József.
Hello, Aaron.
Thanks a lot for your presentation. It was super cool, and I have two questions. The first one is about the server environment. So your 3 examples. Can you tell us just a bit about the resources? I'm running my Mautic on a basic Linode VPS. Would that qualify for the third, the second, or the first server?
The third one was yes, exactly. So the third one was, I didn't want to say the name, but the third one is a $20 Linode running only one Mautic.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And the second question is, how did you measure the times of the processes? So is there something which can be easily done or some super geeky high-tech stuff involved?
I'll be very honest. So one of them is the import will be showing the times automatically. You see it in the Mautic UI.
Oh yeah, okay.
For the rest, I use my mobile phone and clicking at the same time on enter and pushing with my left finger the stopwatch. Magic technology, very reliable though.
All right, thank you for the scientific explanation. All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anything else? Toby, I think there are no questions. Recommend going for the 30 sec, whatever pass. So answer to Benjamin about the 30-second thing. Depends on what you want to do. Like there is many things, but there are many things you can right away execute with Mautic. Like for example, you can set actions in the form. So you can trigger the confirmation emails right away. But if you're working with, let's say, webhooks, you are working with API, speed is very important, and sometimes you just cannot wait for another 30 seconds. The other thing is, if you introduce Mautic to someone who never used any other tool, they cannot see the benefit. If the first time someone makes a segment, puts it together for like 10 minutes, very creative, turns it, closes the segment. So what did I build? And there is no one there for 5 minutes. So you can't do that. 1 minute, I would say it's okay. But 30 seconds, they're impressive because they see right away the what they did. And it's very good for testing smaller things and just it's a more fast-pacing environment. So I recommend 30 seconds, yes, but you should know what you do.
All right, thanks so much, Joseph. Can you hear me?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, is my mic better now? I learned that there was so much noise.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Okay, great. So okay, quickly, let me just run through my welcome slides. Basically, we talked about what Mautic is all about for the benefit of those that are joining to know about Mautic for the first time. So Mautic is an open source marketing automation platform that helps you to automate and measure your marketing efforts, and also helping integrating and also personalizing digital properties across all channels, and help you to be able to create a seamless customer experiences. And the good thing about it is open source. You can customize it to your need. You can contribute back to the code base, and that makes it a lot more useful for everyone, and also for every other person that will be able to use it afterward. Okay, what do you think you can be able to use Mautic for? You can use it for website tracking. to track number of people coming to your website, and also to send them personalized content, dynamic content. You can use it for building landing pages for your different products or different services. You can use it to build web forms. You can use it for contact management. You can use it for reporting, and you can use it for analytics too. And A/B testing, email marketing is one of the popular features that most people know about. Is when they see Mautic, they think it's just for email marketing, but Mautic is more than just email marketing. Okay, so I talked about how you can be able to contribute to Mautic. So you can just go to this URL, mautic.org/community/get-involved, or you can just go to contribute.mautic.org. There are various teams which you can contribute in Mautic, and one of them is the community team. The community team is behind Mautic Cron, and then we have the education team for providing resources. The education team recently launched the knowledge base, so you can find that at kb.mautic.org. You have the legal and finance team. You have the marketing team that helps with marketing or anything that has to do with getting Mautic known out there. I have the product team that are responsible for building the Mautic solution for everybody to use. So we encourage everybody to please join the Lagos community. You can join us on Meetup. The resources for this event will be shared in that community. So for everyone that is subscribed, you'll be getting an email for the slides and the link to the YouTube video. So please feel free to also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will appreciate if you do that, so that you can be able to get notification next time we go live or we upload a new content. And in case you need help and support, please feel free to go to the community home, but feel free to always share your community your support needs in the forum. It allows having the same question answered for someone else in the future that might need it, because it gives the ability for them to also go on Google or certain search engine to be able to search, and then they can be able to see results from Google that takes them to the forum, of which is not possible with Slack. So we encourage that when you need any support, please go to the forum and post your support question there. You have resources that you can also follow. You have the Mautic knowledge base, kb.mautic.org. You have the developers resources, developers.mautic.org. Then we have the multicast that is being led by AK and his co-host, where they talk about the host by monthly talks on Mautic and updates around Mautic. Please feel free to join the Mautic community on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and then you see I can be able to get updates and announcements of new events. So this meetup is being planned by 3 wonderful persons. We have Favor, we have Victor, and we also have myself. So please free to reach out to any of us. That is our Twitter handle at Topso, for myself at Iyadira Victor, and then at Fakila6 for Favor. All right. So our next meetup is going to be happening on November 28th, and it's going to be online. When you join the community group, you get to know who is the speaker and what topic we'll be talking about. But if you want to talk at any of our meetup, or you'll have suggestions and feedback, so please feel free to reach out to me or send any of the organizers a DM, and we would love to partner with you or to have your feedback and see how we can improve. All right. So today, Joseph has been able to talk to us about working with Mautic Cron jobs, both for beginners and advanced users. And trust me, I've learned a lot about especially being able to run the command whereby you can be able to go about it. So it's really, really been educating, and it's really, really been a wonderful session. So quickly, let me just, before we go back to question and answer, let me just quickly run us through some updates that have happened in the Mautic community. So, all right, so Mautic 3.1.2 was released this last Monday, and there's preparation for releasing Mautic 3.2 And there's a product sprint that is scheduled for November 6, 7, 20, and 21. Please feel free to join. You don't have to be a developer to be part of any of these meeting or any of these sprints. You can join as tester, where you can be able to test and help to discover bugs, and able to also help with marketing for each of these releases. So please feel free. Education team also needs people that help them with writing and also coming up with tutorials that can help the team. So everybody is welcome to be part of this sprint. So don't just think it's just for the developers only. Please feel free to participate in any of this sprint. So Mautic Cron is on here, and is the first ever Mautic worldwide conference, and you can start purchasing tickets at $5. It's happening on November 17th. And what makes me so glad about Mauticon is that we'll be having speakers from Nigeria. So I'll be speaking, Favor will be speaking, Shodipo Ayomide too will be speaking, and that makes it more interesting for me, and also want to see everybody join. Then we have the Mauticon conference. You can access the website from mautic.org. All right, so there's also a training that will be coming on with the Mautic event, Mauticon. So that will be happening on the 16th, or it's going to be on a Monday, and there is a 25% off for the training. So please feel free to check the mautic.org for the link for the training, and now you can register. Use this coupon code MAUTICON2020 to be able to get 25% off when you want to register for this training. All right, so please, we can go on with the question and answer. So I'm going back to the group to see if we have any other question. Okay. Okay. All right. So. Okay. So, is there still anyone that have question? We can take more questions before we call it a day. Any question? Please feel free to use the chat box or try to use the question icon to ask your questions. Okay, I will just wait for like maybe 30 seconds. If no one pop in a question or raise up their hand, we can call it a day. All right, so at the end of this session, please, you can still wait behind. Try to network with other people, join a table, have discussion with others, learn what they do, learn how they use Mautic, learn how you can also partner together. It's going to be an interesting one. Oh, thank you so much, Benjamin. Really appreciate the feedback. You say it's a very interesting workshop. Oh, thanks so much. All right. Thank you. That will be well done, Benjamin. Thanks so much for your feedback. Appreciate it. All right. So, Joseph, do you have any last word from you that you'd like to share before we give it a close today?
If I have anything else to share?
Yes, from your end, anything you want to talk about before we close today?
No, I think I covered it. I'm sorry it was a little bit fast. I realized it now.
No.
So you can rewatch the video, and
yeah, sure.
Yeah, maybe that could be useful.
Sure. The video is there for everybody to watch, so that is not a big challenge. No problem about that. All right, Ruth, any word from you before we go?
No, nothing from me. I think it's been great to hear from Joey, and I'm really looking forward to your session at Mauticon as well, because I'm sure this is something that we see it all the time in the forums, people having trouble with cron jobs and sending. So thank you very much for your session. It was really informative.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So there's exactly a link that can be shared with people now, like I say, hey, go check this out. You can learn more about cron jobs. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming and staying by today. So we'll be ending this session right now. See you in the our Mautic.com group. Make sure you subscribe and join the community so that you can get updates and also get linked to the presentation and the recordings for this meetup. Thank you all. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.